guys so much for tuning in to today's live stream. It is July 2nd, 2025. And to begin today's live stream, I do want to take a look at the economic calendar here for Wednesday. And so today we had challenger job cuts year over year, ADP non-farm employment change, and crude oil inventories. This ADP non-farm unemployment change here is a pretty crucial number, as it shows us the state of the labor. It shows us the state of the labor market. And so here, the forecasted was that we were going to have 99,000 estimated change in number of. So they estimated that there was going to be a change of 99,000 employed people. So it was going to be a gain. However, the actual numbers came out to be negative 33,000. This leads to a contracting labor market. Maybe people are getting laid off, and yeah, so this is pretty interesting. I kind of want to know what the difference is between ADP non-farm employment change and non-farm employment change. But let's see. So here, what ChatGPT is saying is that the ADP non-farm employment change reports show the estimated change in the number of employed people in the private sector. Private sectors include business outside of the governments. It's published monthly by ADP, a payroll processing company. What your numbers mean? Actual, yeah. The private sector lost 30,000 jobs during the measured month. Economists expected an increase of 99,000. So yeah, negative number means a net reduction in jobs. So it's reduction in jobs. Okay. So not this news release is released by ADP, as the one that's going to be released tomorrow is actually going to be published by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So it's an actual government agency, measures the actual change in the number of employed people in the U.S. economy, excluding farm workers, private household employees, and non-profit employees who are unpaid. Includes both private sectors and government jobs. Regarded as the most important U.S. labor market report. Interesting. Yeah, so the ADP one is just a early estimate, as the one that's going to be released tomorrow, the actual non-farm payrolls, that's an official report. Okay, well, we'll see how strong the labor market is tomorrow officially. It is estimated that there's going to be an increase, a forecast of an increase of 120,000 jobs. And we also have unemployment rates here as well. So that is something that you have to kind of consider coming into today. The technicals for today here, let's take a look. So this is the 4-hour chart, but if you guys can see, there's a I have the daily chart here, I have the weekly, and I also have the monthly here as well. Here, based on the monthly time frame, based on the way that we closed here on this monthly candle, you can anticipate that we should take out the monthly high, right? With the way that we closed here on this monthly candle, on the previous monthly candle, it is suggesting to me that in the very next monthly candle, we should create the open, manipulate lower maybe, and then expand towards the monthly high. That is what I am anticipating coming into coming into the month of July. And that's just kind of like a macro, more higher time frame perspective on what I'm going to see in price. Coming into today, alright, let's see. So here NQ, with the way that we closed here on NQ, on the daily time frame, it suggests to me that we should take out the daily low. And so for me, and it's not really clear, to be honest. It's not like an objective closure. It's not really like how do I explain this? It's not that bearish, but we did end up taking out the daily low. And so once we took out this daily low here on NQ, I can't use this time frame anymore as a time frame that I can base my objectives off, right? The daily objective has basically already been completed. And so I know that coming into today, I'm not going to use the daily time frame. And before I go onto the 1-hour time frame, I also want to draw your attention towards this SMT here. So NQES, we have a pretty large SMT right now. So here is ES. ES is on the left side, and NQ is on the right side. Notice how on NQ we have taken out that blue line, and look at where ES is. ES is nowhere near where that blue line is, right? There is a SMT divergence, indicating that there's a possible that there's manipulation in the markets, right? And yeah, so the environment that we are in right now is not ideal. NQ here as well, if you guys notice, we have taken out all-time highs here coming into Sunday's open. ES, we have not taken out all-time highs yet, which is kind of interesting. So there's a lot of SMTs right now, and so that's just something that you do want to pay attention to. Here, ES, we have taken out previous month's high, right? So you notice we have taken out previous month's high here, and on NQ, we have failed to take out previous month's high. So previous month's high is still intact. There's a lot of SMT right now. It's not ideal the environment that we are in is highly manipulative right now. And it's just, yeah, I mean, after prices takes out all-time highs, to be honest, we've completed a pretty major objective. And so I really can't force anything to happen here. And yeah, so coming into this morning session today, I would most likely utilize the hourly time frame and the 4 hour / the 8 hour time frame. Those two time frames are going to close here in about 16 minutes or so, and depending on how the 4 hour candle closes and the 8 hour candle closes will give me a morning objective. That will give me a morning bias on where we want to go. If we close bullish on the 4 hour candle and the 8 hour candle, then I will be targeting the 4 hour high and the 8 hour high. But if we close bearish, then I'll be targeting the 4 hour low and the 8 hour low. That's kind of something that I am watching, right? And like I said, there is SMT right now. ES, we have failed to take out previous day low, whereas on NQ, we have already taken out previous day low. So like I said, the environments right now, we are in highly manipulative markets. And yeah. Just being really patient coming into today. I think here I'll just go over some pros and cons, and yeah, give you guys a good overview of where and some of the pros and cons from previous week. Alright, so to start it off, the very first pro coming into today is taking consistent setups. How do I take consistent setups? Or, right, is every single setup that I take, I have to be able to identify a higher time frame objective, a model, and a entry pattern. Those three components are crucial in the setups that I take. Higher time frame objective is essentially the bigger reason, the macro reason for where I want to see prices go. The model is how am I going to align myself with the higher time frame objective. So if the higher time frame objective, for instance, is the weekly high, my model should be on the lower time frames that it shouldn't have the same objective, right? But it should have it, like if my objective is the weekly high, then my model could be on the daily time frame, and I'm targeting the daily high. Both time frames, the daily and the weekly, are suggesting higher prices. And so that's kind of how you align yourself with the higher time frame objective. It's a little bit easier for me to explain it through an example, but just the idea is your higher time frame objective, like I said, is the macro reason for why prices should be continuing in a specific direction, and your model is how you align yourself with that order flow, your entry pattern. It could be an order block, it could be a fair value gap, it could be a breaker block, but your entry pattern should always support the idea of both your model and your higher time frame objective. If your higher time frame objective is bullish and your model is bullish, then your entry pattern should be supporting higher prices. My entry pattern of choice is always going to be a fair value gap. You guys can use order blocks, but it's best if you stick to just one entry pattern. And so stick to one entry pattern and make sure that your entry pattern supports the higher time frame order flow and the model's order flow. Second pro is to pay really close attention to SMT and how the relationship between NQ and ES is. Like I showed you guys briefly coming into the morning session today, the fact that, on NQ, we have taken out previous day low. On ES, we have taken out previous month's high. ES, we haven't taken out all-time highs yet. And it's just really, really sloppy price action. There's a lot of manipulation. Because there's a lot of manipulation, it's just ideal for me to stay on the sidelines. No need for me to really force anything. A lack of SMT indicates that there's a possible continuation. So no SMT, you want to associate that with a potential continuation. Presence of SMT equates to a potential reversal. And so keep those two kind of if then that statements in your mind and just pay close attention to SMT. And one thing that I do want to mention about SMT here as well is SMT can occur on every time frame. Every time is fractal, price is fractal. So the fact that prices and time is fractal and that you can apply concepts to every single time frame means that you can apply SMT to different time frames as well. Third, this is a good segue from what I just mentioned, but utilize every single time frame. Pivot from time frames occasionally, right? So like coming into today, I specifically started with the monthly time frame, and I mentioned that on the monthly time frame, I'm bullish. I want to see us continue higher, but that's like the bigger time frame, right? Like that's the monthly time frame. But I'm utilizing the weekly, I'm utilizing the daily, I'm utilizing the intraday time frames. Once a time frame has completed its objective, then you shouldn't be sticking on that same time frame, right? You can't force another objective to be completed on a time frame that has completed its objective already. You can't force anything else from that time frame. So instead of sticking onto that time frame, you want to pivot from different time frames and utilizing the fractal nature of the markets. And so that's pivoting and utilizing different time frames. The fourth thing here is probably the most crucial coming into this week. It's probably to be patient. It's not probably, it is to be patient. You don't want to force things to happen right now. Whenever I say force, it's just you don't want to be trigger happy, right? For right now, there's kind of no reason for me to really like take any setups. I don't really see a reason for me to do so. And because there's so much SMT right now, and because we have just taken out all-time highs, that really doesn't align with my setup, and I just don't like the fact that there's so many SMTs right now. And yeah, so that's all of the pros and cons. Consistency, paying close attention to SMT, pivoting from time frames, and being patient. Those are the 4 things coming into this week that I should practice. And to really sum things up, there's the list there. I think, yeah, so that's basically it, right? Taking consistent setups. What does that mean? Having a higher time frame objective, a model, and a entry pattern. Second is to watch closely between the relationships of NQ and ES. Third, be calm, be patient, don't force things to happen. And the last thing here is I want to track the 10K journey. I really want to be able, or I'm going to journal every single execution, and I will do my best to try to remember to actually record the executions, as I think recording the execution really provides a detailed insight of how but my thinking is whenever I am in a trade, right? And yeah, so that's gonna wrap it up for the pros and cons and the improvements. We have 5 minutes left until the 4-hour candle closure and the 8-hour candle closure. With the way that we are closing here, it is, yeah, I mean, we'll see. But the 4-hour candle closure is pretty bullish, right? You can make the assumption that we should take out the 4-hour high. And yeah, that's kind of where I want to see prices go. If we were to close right now, we still have 4 minutes left, so I don't want to state anything before we do so. Yeah, so there's that. 3 minutes left until the closure. Just gonna be extra patient. Let's take a look at what NQ is doing. So the way that we are closing here on NQ's 4-hour candle, it's not as bullish as, ES 4-hour candle is not as bullish as NQ's 4-hour candle. So this here is also not ideal, where NQ is trading higher, ES is kind of in a doozy right now. So we'll see. Yeah, 3 minutes left until the candle closure. Let's see if I can fit. I don't think I'll be able to do a chess game here on time, to be honest, but maybe you can do a 1-minute game. Yo, this guy's going fast. Oh wait, no, this, oh my gosh. I think that's fine actually. Oh, I think I should be chilling. Alright, I'm chilling. I'm not. Holy, I'm about to run out of time. Crazy, dude. What the? Oh, wow. What? 1 minute is insane. What the heck was that? That was actually so fast. Time control is crazy on a 1 minute. I'm not doing that again. 17 seconds left. Yeah, I don't think I have good time control here to play 1 minute. That's insane. I think 3 minutes good. There's the 4-hour candle closure. And we'll see here. So the 4-hour candle closure is, I guess you can make the narrative that we should take out the 4-hour high, but let's take a look at ES 4-hour candle and NQ 4-hour candle. So this is the 4-hour candle here on NQ. This is the respective 4-hour candle here on ES, right here. With the way that we closed here on ES and NQ, very, very different narratives. 4-hour candle on NQ is suggesting possible higher prices. NQ is the completely different, or on ES, it's the completely different story. It's a down close candle that is pretty indecisive, or you can even make the case for it to be lower. But I would probably say that it's a decisive down close ES 4-hour candle, not necessarily supporting the idea of higher prices or lower prices, but NQ, its 4-hour candle supports the idea of higher prices for the moment. It suggests that we should take out the 4-hour high at least. But the fact that those two 4-hour candles are not really in alignment with one another kind of makes me wary coming into the morning session right now, right? And yeah, so that's kind of my this is my approach coming into the morning, is to not force any setups. To be honest, I don't think I'm going to take anything coming into the morning session today. I would say utilize every single time frame. The fact that here we just took out the 4-hour high, and NQ we have not taken out the 4-hour high, so we did end up completing the 4-hour objective here on NQ, but because ES has not, means that there is a SMT divergence right now. And yeah, I mean, I don't want to force anything. I don't want to force anything here coming into the morning. I think that's going to be all for today's live stream. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and until next